Hey guys. Today I just wanted to kind of talk about separating the occultist from the material that they produce. So earlier today, in one of the groups I belong in, someone asked if they could um, post some material that they'd helped create, and one of the reasons he was worried about posting it was because apparently some of the material was created by a friend of his who had received a lot of criticism and a lot of people didn't like him. And I was like, yeah, you can go ahead and post it as long as you and he are both in agreement. Because I don't believe in posting things against an author's permission. So because he and his friend created it and they both agreed that they wanted to share it with people, I allowed them to post it. Um, but I made the comment that as practitioners of the occult, we should be elevated enough to be able to separate the creator from the material that they're producing. Because the material itself, I mean, like it or dislike it, is separate from the person. The person could be absolutely deplorable and be a complete jerk or whatever, but maybe the material they create is absolutely brilliant. And one of the things I've found, especially in the occult community, is that, one person has a run in with an occultist. Maybe they had a bad day and, their words were shared or whatever. And that person goes away angry and disgruntled. And then they go tell everybody who will listen how horrible that person is. Or they'll start rumors and start telling stories about this person. And that stuff spreads like wildfire in the occult world. So before you believe what you hear, first of all, it's probably best that you at least try to acquaint yourself with the person uh, before you judge them. Because, like I said, it could have been a bad day. The person who's complaining could have been the first person to instigate an altercation, um, as happens often. Because I found that like most occult creators are generally really good people. Um, and I don't agree with all of the creators out there, but some of them produce really good material. And so I think it's really important to be able to separate the two. And it's also good not to judge a book by its cover. Just because you don't like the material doesn't mean the person's horrible. It just means that you don't resonate with that material and you should probably just move on and not create a lot of stories. Um, I once saw a meme that said something to the effect of, have you ever heard a good rumor about yourself and found yourself nodding and going, I want to know more? So I have actually had that experience. I've gone into like chat rooms or groups or whatever and had people like telling all these great stories about me. And I'm just like, wow, I didn't know I did that. Like, someone's like, I know her publicist. I'm like, I have a publicist? Awesome. You know, gosh, I can't afford a publicist. That's kind of nifty. So imaginative me has a lot of things going on. Apparently, I attend a lot of parties with a lot of 20-year-olds too, a lot of goth parties, and that's just not the way that works. But so there's just a lot of really, really funny things that I hear about myself that just aren't true. But it's from people who either I told them something they didn't like, and so they decided to rail against me. And I'm sure this is not exclusive to me. I'm sure this happens to everybody who's a creator. So if you're creating anything, you're going to find haters, and haters are going to tell anyone who will listen what a horrible, horrible person you are and make up all kinds of stories. Especially in the publishing world, I've had people who have uh, gone on to tell everybody just what a horrible person I am because either they sent me a book that DB Publishing rejected just because it wasn't really our cup of tea, or they were going to do some work for DB Publishing and they didn't produce the material um, adequately, so we had to reject it ultimately. Um, and gosh, somebody keeps dinging me. It's really annoying. But there are a lot of reasons, just small things that you wouldn't think are a big deal that happen every day in your professional life that people take serious offense to. So before you start hating on a creator by listening to some rumor or something, it's probably best for you to, I don't know, get to know that person a little bit and maybe see if maybe they're jerks, because actual jerks are jerks all the time. Um, I mean, I know make jokes about people in my inbox sometimes, but that's how I kind of get it out. I don't dislike the people who send me things in my inbox that I'm just like, what the hell is that? That's just not how I am. But sometimes it does get a little frustrating. You can only get that same email in your inbox so many times before you're like, what the hell? What's going on? But we're all human. We're all emotional creatures. And sometimes you have a bad day and you say something to someone and they just take it way wrong. Mercury retrograde is famous for helping facilitate communication errors. So whenever you hear something about an occult creator, then you take it with a grain of salt. And, I mean, maybe they are a jerk, but maybe they're not. Maybe it's just somebody who's disgruntled and didn't get what they wanted from that person. That happens often. Or it's someone who's jealous. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen people go off on creators because they were jealous that person was actually creating something and they weren't. And it upset them that they didn't have the same notoriety or fame or anything, but they weren't working at it either. And they weren't producing the material for other people to use. So judge the creator and the material they're creating separately. That's all I can really say. And of course, you're going to have people who hate people all the time for whatever reason. They're just haters. They just like to tell everybody what they hate. So, you got to keep that in mind. But as an occultist, you should be able to rise above the petty gossip and bullshit that you hear on the internet, because the internet is the world's biggest bathroom wall. And anybody can put anything they want up there, whether it's true or not, or whether it's a personal feeling or judgment. Um, and there's three sides to every story. As they say, yours, theirs, and the truth. So, and possibly even more sides for people who are observing, and everybody has biases. So these are things we should consider, and that's one of those things about being able to control your emotional responses to things and being cognizant of your emotions and how you're thinking and why you're reacting, and being in control about that and not allowing feelings to control everything you do, because a lot of times assumptions make an ass out of you and me, as my mother always used to say. So that said, that's my video for today. I hope you guys are having a great end of your May. It's already June. Can you believe it? It's crazy. I am currently working on a couple of nonfiction books, and hopefully next month I'll be able to give you a more thorough update on all of that. And I will see you guys soon.